I have two different types of floggers with me. This is a straight handle flogger. It's very traditional. This is a Poe flogger, or a finger loop flogger. And I'll show you how to use these. First, what is Florentine flogging? Well, let me show you. There's a 4-point that I'm going to show you, and then a 6-point. So basically, the 4-point is this, whereas 4 strokes, it's like I'm hitting 4 different times down. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you want to make it a 6-point, you just add another little move into it, and that gives you 6 hits. And then from there, you can get all kinds of different moves. So anyway, how did we do this, and how did we get to this level? So let me show you. So let's talk about straight handle flog. This particular flog is just very well made. It's very well balanced. The way I personally do things is just the way I do them, and I'm giving you suggestions. You might have something better than me. If so, in the comments below, please tell me, because I want to learn as well. With this, basically the flog or flogger consists of your straight handle and then your falls. Each one of these is considered a fall. And when I hold the flogger, personally it becomes an extension of me, my hand. That's how I consider it. So for practice purposes, when I hold these handles, I hold them very loose. Loosey, loosey, loosey. Almost no holding at all. It's very, very loose on my hand. I never create tension. I also, when I practice, I like to point my finger. So I'm kind of holding it like this. The reason I point that finger is when I flog on practice, wherever I point, it becomes. So I have a little pillow in front of me, and I'm hitting exactly the same time every single hit. How do you get advanced, or how do you get comfortable, or how do you get to where it looks like you know what you're even doing? You just basically have to do it. And what that means is there are steps that I took. First move is, again, hold the flogger, point your finger, and we're just going to use our wrist, and we're going to flick. And again, I like to have something in front of me, because then I can hear how I'm controlling it. Is it all the same? Am I hitting consistently? Is some harder than others? So when you do this, it's an overhand, and I'm just really moving my wrist. So you do this literally for 100 times. So 100 hits, okay? Then, when you're finished, there's always the opposite way. So again, 100 times. And it should be where you can kind of do many things at once and just hit exactly 100 times. So you can focus, you can itch, sneeze, you can even have a full conversation like I am with you, and it's just muscle memory. So after the 100 times with that arm, we do have 2. Now, we have a dominant arm and we have a submissive arm. The dominant arm generally is the one we write with. It's the one that kind of feels more comfortable to us. So I'm a lefty, so my dominant arm obviously can do this motion very, very easily. Well, if you just look at my actual motion, you probably wouldn't know that I was a lefty based on the way I can move my arm. And it's only because at first it would have been like this without knowing anything. This arm couldn't do anything. And then over time, just a little muscle memory, it just becomes part of your hand. Okay, so that's going to be an automatic feature. So at first, it's going to be easy to use your dominant hand, and then maybe do an extra 10, so 110 on your submissive hand. Get that motion down where it's just consistent motion, non-thinking motion, just is a motion, okay? After you do 100 of those, there's also a swat where you can thud. And again, this is just a wrist motion. And you can see I'm just hitting the same spot over and over. And this 100 times. Then you have your opposite hand 100 times. It is the same on each hand. So we start with nice rotations, 100. And then we go the opposite way, 100. Then we smack in momentum, 100 in each arm. And then we're going to go into a figure 8. And we're going to do one-handed figure 8 because it's coordination. And once you figure it out, you'll see it's nothing with nothing. So figure 8 is basically a figure 8. So you can see my motion is a figure 8. Now I am right now being very stiff with my flogger, with my arm. I'm doing that for show. You can see my finger, it goes down and down. You see it's right in the center though, so it's the same every single time. So I'd be hitting exactly the same thing every single time. Now the key to good flogging is, wherever your flogger is, that's where it needs to be, and you move your body to hit the target. You don't change your arm, you just change you. Okay, so that's important. So when you do the figure 8, switch to the opposite side. Figure 8, 100 times. It's the same thing. The wrist is going in the right direction. We're just learning muscle memory. That's it. Now, you want to kind of get the arms to work together. We're going to do the figure 8. And what I mean by integrate, so basically this arm, when it comes up like this, that's when this arm is going to start to rise as well. So when this arm falls, this arm follows. Here, I'm going to do it as slow as I can. So I'm going up, down, and I'm just keeping it crossed, and I'm moving it back over. This is just an exercise. So I'm going up and down. So all I'm doing is a timing. I'm figuring out when this goes up, then it goes down, and then it crosses back. But once you figure this out, then you can control it. You can do it slow. You can do all kinds of things. So you don't have to do it fast. Down. Down. Then you switch the arms. 100. Switch the arms. Now we progress. So we figure 8, we go up, and then we cross over, and when we do, this arm's going to come back and follow. Okay? So it looks like this. So it's figure 8. See, it followed. So now we just add that in. I'm doing it slow. So it's up, up, down, and cross. Up. Okay? And then from here, we add the final move in. And this would be the figure 8, a 4-point Florentine. So it's up. I'm doing it as slow as I can, but it's not neat. I apologize. But you can see what I'm doing. I want you to do that. And then you make it cleaner. And you can go slow, exaggerate your moves. Okay, so that is the 4-point Florentine. Let's take it from the top. We're going to start. So we go right up into a figure 8 and come in and then just back and forth figure 8s. And notice my wrists are really the whip. They whip and control the speed. So if I'm hitting, that's light. I'm not moving. It's my wrists that are creating that. Okay, so that's the 4-point. Now, I'm going to now take it one step further. I'm going to go into the 6-point Florentine, which is just a beautiful way to show off your skills. However, and I really say however, I would not move past this part until you do this part. If you can't do this and do it well, you're just going to fail on the next part because it's even harder. So there's no reason to learn harder stuff than the stuff you just need to base. You have to learn the basics to go to the harder. And actually when you do that, you'll start to find that you'll be able to do things you couldn't even realize. Like they just start happening. You're like, wow, I didn't know I could do that, or so. It's just because you get very used to these. They become your fingers. So you can control them in different ways. You can do all kinds of things with these. Just like a 4-point, which is this, the motion's going to change in one step. So this is all the same. However, when I get here, this arm, and this arm, but this arm is going to go around and then cause another flick. 6-point, your hands, they go like this, and then this, and then they turn, and then turn, and turn, and turn. So the move itself looks like this, and now I'm going slow. You can see it's, so this is the same move, right here, same, but then it goes under. Okay, does that make sense? So it goes under, and then over, under and over. And that is a 6-point. Florentine. Okay? So again, it's a figure 8 into a 4-point, and then when you're going around, you just turn. It's like one turn. And let me point, which I didn't say, and I should have, and I'm doing it wrong. You're supposed to be very fluid. You're supposed to be kind of able to fluctuate and move, especially with that. A lot of people say you can't do this without moving, but you can, because here you can. However, you're supposed to get into it with an aerial and the motion, so you actually create movement, which is kind of nice. So I'm just being very stiff for you, but you shouldn't be. You should have fun. People like that anyway. Start doing effects. And you have fun. One of the moves I like to do, I hold it like this, and when I do my figure 8, then after from here I go up and I let it come like over and around. I let the momentum kind of do that. One of the moves, the crisscross, I guess, I don't know, I call it a crisscross, is when you're doing this. So again, it's just a nice aerial show. All it is a cross. And you control the speed. And then from that, you can go right. It's like juggling, actually. You go right back in. If you can do this, you can juggle. I think. I never tried juggling, but I think this is like juggling. So anyway, from here, you go right back in. Just like that. So anyway, that would be the demonstration. Now, a couple things I didn't show you. So this is just bonus material. Bonus material. Exercises for forearms and for good tricks to start, sensation-wise. This is like a car wash. And when against the skin, it's actually very sensual. It's very pleasant. So I do this every time I practice flogging. I do this for a while. And then when you're done, you do it that way, you stop, and you go the opposite way. So you see, that's the effect you want. So that's a good forearm exercise. It helps in your abilities when you flog. The other thing that's very, very important is know what you're hitting and what it feels like. So what that means, you can hit yourself with all the different levels and feel what that feels like. Know what it feels like. Because if you hit someone, you need to know what it is you're doing. It's just very important. And notice that was a lot of loudness. Didn't flinch, didn't anything. It doesn't really hurt. Bonus number 2. This hand I like to hold this way, and this hand I like to hold this way. That's just an effect. So it's just another way, but it gives me better motion with my arm. You start to swoop. And again, all that's just for show. So it's pretty. And then from here you can actually switch switch it right in motion. And another way to hold straight handles, which I do, but I don't like to do it, is in between either these fingers or the Spock fingers. What that means is you just hold it here and then you use your palm to kind of secure it. Blisters will happen. Actually, here's one right here that's recovering. It just is what it is, so you're going to get some calluses. But it's another way to hold them and gives you a different look. Again, with the nice aerials, 2-finger floggers, Poe floggers. Now, very similar to what we just used, but I personally slip these in to my fingers, and then you just close your wrist and you open your wrist. So it's kind of this motion a lot. Swivels, so they move in every direction very, very freely. So you can, again, very easy motion. And here you can go upside down. You can use the wrist. And that is pretty much it. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any comments, tricks, tips, in below.